Hello, in this lesson we are going to cover what a soft fork is versus a hard fork, especially with coins such as Bitcoin Cash and now Bitcoin Gold as well. Depending on when you're watching it, that coin might even be dead because it got DDoSed pretty much as soon as it came out. The website for it did. What are soft forks and what are hard forks? If you're into cryptocurrencies somewhat, you'll probably be hearing these terms and you're probably scratching your head and thinking, a fork, a what? So essentially a soft fork, you can think of it like a software upgrade. A hard fork, you can think of it like it's essentially a whole new branch. So if you were to think of open source software, for example, a soft fork would be implementing some main code into the main branch, and every user can use it. If they have old versions, then they can still continue using the old version, but they can get the new features as well. Whereas a hard fork would essentially be getting the code that you've got for, let's say, the master version, and actually separating that. So any changes that you make to that will not be backwards compatible because this is a whole nother branch. So let's just cover some more of the differences in depth essentially. So let me draw a grid here. So soft fork and hard fork. Let me extend this down quite a bit. Hopefully that should be enough. And now let's cover essentially what the essence of a soft fork is. It tightens the rules of how the core foundation should work. So for example, it reduces block size usage. So that's a way of tightening the rules. So the block size isn't actually changed, it's just sort of changing the rules of how you use it. It is also backwards compatible, and as a result it is favored by many community members. It is backwards compatible. Old nodes can accept new blocks, so this aids in the compatibility. And another great thing is users and merchants can continue running old versions and still accept new blocks. So this is a very powerful aspect of soft forks, that they're backwards compatible. They don't enforce users and merchants to upgrade. They can still use the network. So that's amazing, because if you have a piece of software, I'm sure you've been in the situation with an app, for example, and they're forcing you to upgrade, and or otherwise you just can't use it, or you can't use some of the new features. So that is obviously very annoying. So whereas with a soft fork, this would not happen. So a hard fork, it doesn't actually tighten the rules, it expands the rules. So for example, instead of reducing the block size in the case of soft forks, what it would do is instead of reducing block size usage, instead it would actually increase the block size. So if the block size was 8 megabyte, it might increase it to 16 megabyte. So this would have implications on older versions as well. So as a result, it is not backwards compatible. So that is definitely something that a lot of users do not like. Old nodes don't accept new blocks. Nodes that run old versions will see new transactions as invalid. So the compatibility is non-existent in terms of it being backwards compatible, so which is very, very bad. And as a result, hard forks are very controversial in the Bitcoin community, as many believes it goes against the ethos of what Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in general stand for. Because if we have this sort of divided sort of network where, or we have this divided infrastructure of multiple networks and multiple branches, then essentially we don't have any continuity. We don't have this sort of one system that is decentralized and distributed. We just have a bunch of systems that is just a mix, match and mismatch of just ideas that clearly aren't working together. So for that reason, it is very, very controversial within the community. And finally, also requires, it requires everyone to upgrade. So that is another thing as well. So yeah, that's it really in terms of knowing more about soft forks and hard forks. Soft forks essentially just constrain the current rules. They just try and get the most out of the network currently. They're backwards compatible. The community loves them. Hard forks, community doesn't like it as much. It expands the rules, but it's not backwards compatible. So think for yourself, which one do you prefer? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If there was any sort of topic or any concept covered in this video that you didn't understand, feel free to go through the lesson again. And as usual, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.